Welcome to The Pulse. I'm Jennifer Ray, your host, and today we're tapping history here at the Excelsior Brewery. And to join me is one of the board members and a volunteer, Brianna DePaw of the Excelsior Lake Minnetonka Historical Society. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And this is very exciting, actually. Not only are we here at the brewery, which is my first time here, but I understand that this has become such a well-attended event that we have almost 200 people.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us exactly what the event is and what's covered, when it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Tapping History started about 2 years ago. We actually started in the basement of Jake O'Connor's. It was a really small event, about 20 to 30 attendees. And we've really just rapidly grown since then. We outgrew Jake's and we ended up at the brewery, which is perfectly fitting for Tapping History. It's the second Monday of every month. We invite a different speaker and historian from around the area to speak on a topic surrounding Excelsior Lake Minnetonka. Last month we had Daryl and Laverna Leopold, who you'll know own the Leopolds just down the street. And they spoke on the Excelsior proprietor, and like you mentioned, had over 175 people in attendance. So, learning about the area, learning about Water Street, and all the people of Water Street while enjoying a pint.
And I just want to mention this is open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
It is free of charge.
Yes.
It is the second Monday of every month.
Correct.
So that is the 11th this month, correct?
Correct.
And it starts at 7 p.m.
Correct. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and seating is first come, first serve.
Seating is first come, first serve, so it sounds like there might even be standing room only. And what is the upcoming event?
So the upcoming event is Minnesota Rock and Roll and Dance Hall Days. So we are having Daniel Gabriel and Rick Shefchik come and do a presentation on the 1960s dance hall days. So they'll talk about Danceland and some of the bands in that time. I know Rick is bringing his iPod to share some of the really popular music of the time and just talk about the importance of dance halls and what the importance of Excelsior, especially during those days, was.
And it was a big deal. Now you also mentioned pre this that we actually put part of the presentation and pictures up on the televisions, and also there is a screen that comes down so that the presenter can show all sorts of different old photos and historical sites. So that sounds pretty fabulous. So Brianna, what is the mission of the Excelsior Lake Minnetonka Historical Society?
So our mission is really three parts. We protect, preserve, and document the physical history of the area, which we do in our archives and in our museum. And then we also want to provide a space for people to share in the history of the lake and Excelsior, which we do at our Tapping Histories and also in our museum and archives. And then lastly, we want to stimulate interest in the history of the area, which we also do at Tapping History and our museum. So we really want people to enjoy history and learn a little bit more. Promote the history of the area is really our goal.
Now, how many members are there of the Lake Minnetonka Historical Society?
So it's always growing, but I think we're about 200 to 250 members right now.
And how many volunteers do you have that are active volunteers?
I'd say it's a rotating group of about 25 to 50, depending on our time of year. For example, we're heavier on the volunteers during the summer when our museum is open. We're open 2 days a week in the summer, and we're looking for volunteers to help greet people at the museum and sell books, etc. So we're always looking to grow our volunteer base, whether their interest be in our museum or with the archives. We do preserving, cataloging of all of our physical artifacts there as well.
And where is the museum and what days are they open?
So the museum is open Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays it's 2 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then it is located right next to the Excelsior Library. So it's along the trail, kind of where you would pick up the trolley.
Okay. Who decides what topics there's going to be in the future for?
Yeah, so we kind of just get ideas tossed around between the board. Members will come up with ideas. We also have speakers present ideas to us. So we have a long list of running topics that we're trying to come up with very good topics that will interest people and utilize the speakers and knowledgeable people that we have around town. So it's kind of a collaboration between a good group of people coming up with these ideas.
Sure. What's been some of the most fun being part of the Historical Society?
Well, just watching this event grow has been so fun for me. Like I said, when it started, there was 20 to 30 people attending, and now we have numbers over 100. And I just am learning a lot. I grew up in this area, so for example, we did a topic on the underwater archaeology of Lake Minnetonka, and it's not something that people generally think about, what's sitting on the bottom of Lake Minnetonka, so it's really interesting to see footage and images of the sunken sunken boats, cars, ice boats, a variety of things that you really didn't know were down there.
I'm sure that there's a lot of that. Would have been an interesting one. I'm sorry I missed it. Now, the website for that is elmhs.org. So if you want to look at future events and different things that are happening around town, or how to be included in the Historical Society because you would love to join, you can check that out. And do you have a favorite story, a historical story?
I can't pinpoint one, but we did do an event on the 50th anniversary of the Rolling Stones performing at Danceland. So that was a really fun event to do because we did it at Bayside. So that was a little bit of a special event for us, but there were so many firsthand stories of the concert, people being there and bringing some memorabilia that they had, seeing images of Danceland. It was a really fun event to be a part of.
Oh, I'll bet. And a lot of people still remember that.
Yes.
That, even though it's been a while. We have April on schedule, and we know what's happening then. What about future, May, June, July, August? Do we know what's on the schedule for that and who's going to be speaking?
Yep, we have our summer schedule planned. So May, we have Chuck Donnelly, who is going to be presenting on historic Lake Minnetonka postcards. That's here at the brewery on May 9th. And then we actually go lake-bound in the summer. We do June, July, August. We take a cruise on the Minnehaha. Those tickets are not quite available yet, but those will be available online, and it's $20 for members, $35 for non-members. So we haven't announced those topics yet, but those are coming very soon. We have some surprise things, and those are always it's a custom route on the Minnehaha, so we love to partner with them, and it gets us out in the summer, and it's really great.
Oh, it's very fun. There's nothing better than being on the lake in the summer.
Yeah, and then we actually do have our September event planned in collaboration with the Excelsior Fire Department, celebrating their 125th anniversary. So the Fire Marshal Kelly Murphy will be doing a presentation here at the brewery.
Okay, so that sounds very fun. Go to the website and you can look at all of the future events that we have coming up. Plus, you can always stop by and have a beer here at the Excelsior Brewery. So with that, thank you so much, Brianna. Cheers to you. And here's to the Historical Society. I hope you stop by the Excelsior Brewing Company the second Monday of every month for the next 2 months. Then it's out on the lake. See you there. After the break, Got Money is next.
LMCC HD is here. Here's how you can watch our Government Channel 8 in high definition. If you have a cable-ready TV, you can watch us on Mediacom Channel 8.1. And if you have a set-top box, you can watch us on Mediacom Channel 808. Your community TV, now in HD. LMCC is now on Facebook. Be sure to like or friend us so you can keep up with all the happenings at LMCC or to watch one of our latest videos.
Welcome to the Got Money Show. I'm Jennifer Ray, your host, and I have a super special guest, Mr. Jeff Polinchak, who's been kind enough to stay after our last segment for taxes to talk about pensions. And the reason I want to talk about pensions is, number one, I love people who have them when they come in for financial planning. I just had a new client last week that came in with a pension, so I want to talk more about that. But let me introduce my guest, Mr. Jeff Polinchak, who is president of Northern Pension Company right here in Twin Cities. Jeff, thank you for, again, staying late and doing the Got Money segment to talk about pensions.
Thank you, Jennifer Ray. It's great to be here.
I had clients just come in and they had Social Security, and by the grace of God for them, both of them had pensions. And so they're going to be making like $8,500, but should be, they do have a $35,000 a year travel expense, but they should be doing just fantastic. And so I'm sharing with them as we're sitting across the table, as we're just doing the intake, you know, oh my gosh, you guys are so lucky you have pensions. So can you share with us, I think most people realize what a pension is, but why do we not have them? And is it expensive? Who can have them? Because they're wonderful and we just don't have them anymore.
It seems that when 401ks became more popular, it was part of a trend where employers no longer wanted to commit to providing a lifetime income guarantee to the employee. Rather, there was a desire for the employer to provide just an opportunity in a 401k for an employee to save, and really a shifting of that responsibility to the employee. You know, where the employee is going to make their own personal contributions subject to whatever lifestyle they have, and whatever that grows to is what they're going to have at retirement, as opposed to the employer's commitment to funding a lifetime benefit for the employee. Now, the employee can take his 401k account and buy a commercial annuity that would, you know, provide a pension type of benefit for them, but you do see a lot less employers providing that. I think most of it is a function of cost.
So how much more expensive is it? So it's really whether or not the employer wants to have that additional cost, whether or not they're going to offer that as a benefit, because I think that that would be great at attracting talent or employees to have that kind of a benefit that most people don't.
The traditional type of pension where you might accrue a monthly benefit payable at normal retirement age, whatever that might be, 65, 62, oftentimes it was difficult for employers to communicate the value of that benefit to the employee. If I match your contribution in a 401k plan, say 3%, it's easy for me to understand what that translates to. If I'm making $30,000 a year and I get a 3% company match, that's $900. That makes sense to me. But if I promise to pay an employee a percentage of their income commencing at age 65, the value of that is really hard to understand and to communicate. And also, it's also hard for the employer to fulfill that commitment, especially for a smaller employer, where
Because it is expensive.
right, and the market, markets change, and that and how much money I need might be different, as longevity increases and things of that nature. So it's just hard to communicate, and it's hard for the employer to get their hands around the funding of it.
And so they are more expensive. So who would be, if somebody's out there and they're thinking, I have this company, whether it just be myself or me and my 50 employees, and I'd like to look into actually what it would take to have a pension, are you somebody that they call in regards to that? And I know you do record keeping for pensions, et cetera.
We help companies establish and maintain do the required government filings and keeping the planning compliance, the setup and maintenance of a pension plan for employers.
And I know that there's a lot of let's say professional type businesses that may have a pension plan implemented. Is it just not feasible anymore? And maybe that's the answer right there, for a manufacturing company to implement it still, or I've only got 10 years till retirement, probably too late for me to start putting one together.
Well, pension plans, the limits are more favorable for older individuals than for younger, so the amounts that can be put into a plan are greater the older that you are. So in terms of a company that might be a candidate, would be a company that has solid recurring earnings that would allow them to commit to something on a longer term basis. Because the fundamental difference, or one of the fundamental differences between a 401k type of arrangement and a pension is that pensions require ongoing recurring contributions. So you really
Mandatory.
Mandatory, right, depending on what the formula is in the plan. So you really want to be prepared for that and have a commitment to do that.
Whereby 401ks, if they have a bad year, they can either reduce it down to 1% or not matching
Some cases
at all.
eliminate it.
Yeah, or eliminate it. So what's your contact information, Jeff, if somebody's like, oh, I think I might want to look at implementing some sort of a pension or at least check it out?
My telephone number is
Sure.
763-208-3857.
763-208
3857.
3857, and we'll put that on the bottom of the screen, and along with your name and Northern Pension Company. And so thank you for at least enlightening us with some information. Anything else you want to add in the last minute?
No,
We got it covered?
Great to be here, and it's a pleasure as always. Thank
Well,
you.
Jeff, thank you so much for coming. I've known you for 20 years, and I really appreciate it. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.